We know this isn't necessarily the event that the teams wish that they were competing in. Northern Ontario especially is a interesting one to look at, as this is the same team that competed in Prince Albert last year at the 2022 event. This team was in the gold medal game against Quebec, as a matter of fact. Back end, Trevor Bonneau and his sister Jackie McCormick, they won this event in 2017, but just goes to show you just how competitive it is and how important it is to bring out your A game each and every time.
Yeah, it's still something to play for both these teams. Nunavut's obviously it'd be great for them to win 2 in a row to end the week here. And Northern Ontario still sitting in a 3-way tie atop the seeding pool right now. So a chance to win the seeding pool, I guess you could say. Finish 9.
Absolutely, and it's all about seeding for next year. So based on the standings at the end of this draw, the teams will be ranked and seeded into pools for next year's event in 2024. So there's still something to play for. Yeah, these teams might not necessarily be back at next year's event, but they want to do everything that they can to finish on a strong note for their province or territory. Allison Taylor's second shot. She is the Senior Legislative and Policy Analyst with the Department of Health at the Government of Nunavut. She started curling when she moved to Iqaluit in 2016, had met Allison Griffin, who was heading up the member association program at the time. And Allison Taylor was a natural athlete, played some competitive soccer. And so with not really a lot of soccer fields or pitches available up in Iqaluit, took up curling and really came to it as she made a nice draw to the side of the button.
You always like to see people playing at a high level who started the sport late. It's really never too late to start curling, ever.
That's one of the best things about this sport. Absolutely.
Start whenever you want and play it forever.
Justin McDonnell, project manager with Infrastructure Government of Nunavut. One of his major accomplishments outside of curling, he's built a cabin that is completely off the grid on Frobisher Bay. He
Just
sneaked
sneaks by
around,
the guard.
but the weight just a little bit down, I think, as that one will squeak on by, and Northern Ontario remains shot. Mike McCarville, last name that many curlers will be familiar with. Wife Krista McCarville, the top team in Northern Ontario. That team now working with a 5-person rotation after picking up Andrea Crawford. Or Andrea Kelly, my apologies. Ugh. So Nunavut without Hammer here, but opting instead to play the hit and roll and start eliminating some Northern Ontario stones.
Playing it cautious early, not as clean of a first end as we saw in the earlier game.
Going just wide. Yes, earlier we had a great game between two of the top teams in the championship pool. It was Manitoba picking up a victory against Team Ontario. And with the results of that championship pool round, 3 playoff spots have been determined. So we know 3 of the 4 teams that will be playing this weekend on Saturday in the semifinals in either the gold or bronze medal games Manitoba undefeated. They locked up a spot. The hometown team, Saskatchewan, of the Swift Current Curling Club, led by Sean Meacham. That team is also qualified, as has Nova Scotia's team from Halifax, led by Paul Fleming and featuring the legendary Colleen Jones playing lead. That team is also qualified, as whether they win or lose tonight, that does not matter. There will be one game that really matters for Ontario and for Team Northwest Territories. So Jamie Cooey and Ontario Scott McDonald, those two teams go head to head, and win and you're in essentially. But one of those teams will get to 7 wins, and that's going to be enough to clinch a playoff spot.
Yeah, a battle between skips you may have seen at the Brier in years past, and you're going to see it here at the Mixed Championships.
Jackie McCormick, an audiologist who owns a practice in Fort Frances in Ontario, tests hearing, prescribes and fits hearing aids, and is the regional provider for Ontario Infant Hearing Programs, so testing out the hearing of babies.
That was a really nice shot as well.
Northern Ontario will be kind of thrilled with how things are turning out here right now.
Yeah, a lot of the red in the rings, but there's a couple sitting just behind the tee. So definitely still a shot for Nunavut to get something in there, save the sand away.
That's Meredith Penner. She's a doctor at the General Hospital in Iqaluit. Doesn't quite lock it on, and there is a pass here for sure that Northern Ontario can make it that stone. McCormick mentioned she's sister to Trevor Bonneau, who's throwing the last stones and calling the game. So always fun to see a brother-sister combination that make it work at such a high level in the game. They had that opportunity to win this event back in 2017, as I mentioned. Definitely a highlight of their curling careers. So McCormick follows this down.
And we talked so much about chemistry in the earlier draw, and being brother sister, I'd hope they have some good chemistry in the back end.
You
Not
learn how
always
to
the
be able
case.
to talk to each other and know what each other needs, I'd say, at that point. So it definitely is a bonus.
Yeah, probably couldn't curl with my sister, but I applaud those who can.
So Nunavut actually sitting shot right now. They are surrounded though. As Peter Van Strijn gets ready to settle into the hack. He's a finance officer and utilities for the city of Iqaluit. Outside of curling this year, he was in a World Series of Poker event, over 7,000 entries, and of those 7,000, he finished 54th, which is incredible.
Similar to another high-level curler, Jason Gunlickson was a poker player for a long time, wasn't
It's true, yes. Quite the poker shark.
he? Yeah.
And I think sometimes those things go hand in hand when you're thinking about odds and statistics and
Yep. It's also just something that tests your brain a lot. It's good to keep your brain moving, especially when you play a sport like curling.
mm-hmm. So Van Strine playing the guard. That one sits quite nicely. That takes away the raise.
That was a pretty well thrown shot.
Yeah, Nunavut will be happy with that. So I've seen Trevor indicate, to me it looks like, are they trying to play directly to that one on the right hand side in the 8-foot to hit
I
that
think
one back?
that's the call. I think that's probably like neither one is really very easy.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at both of them for a while. I didn't love either of them, but they're in a bit of a spot right now where they don't have a lot of options.
At the very least, it's an opportunity for Northern Ontario to open things up should they be off, because those two reds could ricochet off each other and clear out.
That's very true. There's a lot of good that can happen on this shot.
So they hold it to get by, but they miss everything. So it just over curls and actually jams on a stone. It still rolls out.
Well, it will open up that outturn draw, which it's looking more likely they may need. But we'll look to see if Nunavut decides to guard it here. Or just come right in on the outturn side.
Yeah, so that looks to be the plan. Broom way out in the wings, right up against the divider. So expecting to come wide and expecting to see a lot of curl and just to block that path. So just kind of left of the center line, maybe 3 rocks off of it or so, just to make this last draw a little bit more difficult to make. And in an end where everything was looking great with a lot of red rocks in play for Northern Ontario, they could be in for a tricky shot here to try and get their one.
Yeah, they've got away with a pretty good. They're sitting in a pretty good place now for an end that didn't start very well, and I think they'll be pretty happy to cover everything they can up and hopefully take away a steal here, at least a force, at the worst.
So McDonnell and Taylor waiting on this one, waiting for it to stop, but it keeps heads up a little bit, and it's about top 12, and it's not a terrible spot.
It's not a bad spot at all. How much ice Peter was taking on that guard. I was wondering how much ice he'd have to take to get around that guard. They're seeing something here, though.
So with that amount of ice, I'm thinking that Northern Ontario must be looking at the raise attempt.
Yeah, they must be looking to tap up that red in the middle. It's tight to get by that yellow.
Certainly tight to get by the yellow. I definitely agree with you. And then you can't get too far away from it either. Well, I guess at the same time, if you're too close to that yellow, you're going to be wrecking. And if you just get by the yellow, you should be okay. Because you got to hit it basically right on the beak to avoid really clipping off that other red.
Yeah.
So here it comes, Northern Ontario. They connect with it right on the beak. They put it up, but is it enough? I don't think so. What a great attempt from Northern Ontario, but it will be a steal of 1 for Nunavut to open up this game, and we will be right back after this.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
Welcome back to the final seeding pool round robin game here. Our feature match between Northern Ontario and Nunavut now underway in the second end. Nunavut opening up with the steal. So great start for the team from the north as Allison Taylor throws. She competed at the 2022 and 23 Scotties Tournament of Hearts.
This one looks like it might slide deep as well.
So with those behind, no cause of concern for Bonneau and the Northern Ontarians.
They'll be happy to come right around the corner. I think it's a little heavy out of her hand.
Sweepers backing off. Yeah, Van Strand coming up. That one goes through.
We'll send that one packing.
It's another opportunity for the guard here for Justin McDonnell. We'll see all four of these curlers from Team Nunavut in just a few weeks in Winnipeg, Manitoba at the Assiniboine Memorial Curling Club. They will all be competing for the men's and women's teams for Nunavut at the Everest Canadian Curling Championships, Canadian Curling Club Championships, so all for the recreational and club level curlers. Always an exceptional event, and we'll be in Winnipeg this week, and that will be going on from November 19th to the 25th. All that action will also be here, available for streaming on Curling Canada Plus.
Mike McCarville about to throw his first to the second end here.
Trying to make a play at these. Missed the center guard, so Amanda Gates holding it. They're by, no problem. Hits it right on the beak.
Solid throw there from Mike.
Then after those Curling Club Championships, the 2023 Everest Canadian Senior Curling Championships will be in Vernon, British Columbia at the Vernon Curling Club, December 3rd to 9th. Winner of that will have the opportunity to represent Canada at the upcoming World Senior Curling Championships. This will be held in Sweden later this year at the end of the 2023-24 curling season. And all that action will also be on Curling Canada Plus and brought to you in part by our friends at Curling Stadium, who are bringing you this action here, bringing you every sheet, every end, every shot, all available for streaming right from home. None of it just over curling this one, so it leaves Northern Ontario sitting shot stone. Northern Ontario team from Thunder Bay, from the Fort William Curling Club, which is attached to Fort William Gardens. It's where the 2022 Scotties Tournament of Hearts was held. However, due to ongoing safety regulations and health regulations with COVID, it was a very limited event. No spectators throughout the round robin and championship pool. Volunteers were allowed in for the final weekend, and that event, though, will be going back to Thunder Bay in 2025, and I can't wait to get back there after experiencing the arena and the atmosphere and just knowing what it could have been with some very knowledgeable and excellent Northern Ontario curling fans and other curling fans from across the country being in that nice cozy barn. It's going to be an electric atmosphere.
Yeah, people
next
come
year.
out to witness Team Northern Ontario. They'll support their team very well. It's nice to see them get back a second chance at that event that they didn't get to host in a full capacity.
Jackie McCormick's first throw. Brooms down all the way. They get by the corner, now around the center. Bringing it as far as they can. Biting the four, and similar to last end, a lot of stuff up front. And this time around, though, Northern Ontario sitting quite nicely, 1, 2, and 3. No unforced errors this time as of right now.
Yeah, we'll see. None of it will have to get out of a jam as well again this end. This is Meredith Penner.
Penner, yes.
My mistake.
I've made plenty of them live before. It's all good.
I'm thirsty or something. I was wanting Arnold Palmer or something.
This one looks really nice.
Really nice throw.
Great shot from Meredith.
Cut right up next to Shot Stone.
At the very least, while it doesn't look to be shot, that's at least cutting down Northern Ontario right now and really shrinking that scoring zone.
That's something they really needed to do at that point
Yes.
in the end.
So Northern Ontario is going to wrap one around here. They'll just follow that same path that Penner came down. The pin's still exposed, so there's still definitely some room for them to come down on top of that yellow rock and sit right in that pocket.
Jumped on that one maybe a touch early.
Now just trying to work it over, but they couldn't quite get that.
That might knock none of it into Shot Rock.
Yeah, I think you're right. That is quite tough to tell, but that could very much be a yellow counter right now.
It was real close. They nudged that red over out of the button area a little bit, and just that yellow really just went sideways, which would have only helped it. Definitely a shot. I mean, it's
Great
not going to matter
opportunity.
much if Peter Van Strijn can loop one in there right on top of him anyway.
Van Strijn, he was alternate at the 2022 Brier for Nunavut, played at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Doubles Championship, 2021 Canadian Mixed, as well as the Everest Club Championships. So he's a little bit wide here, nudges it back. Now, it still looks like, to me, that Nunavut rock is still shot. But
they keep shimming him around, so it might not be that way for another shot.
No, exactly. Just the way that worked out, that really kind of opened up some backing or a little bit of an area for Northern Ontario to have an opportunity to curl around that center guard and tap it back just a touch, and they could definitely be setting a couple by the end of this.
This is Trevor Bonneau with his first of the second end.
Bonneau, 2022 Canadian Mixed runner-up, 2017 Mixed champion. And he and his sister were inducted into the Northwestern Ontario Sports Hall of Fame, that 2017 team that won the national championship. And he's close here. He's close.
That's a really good shot by Trevor Bonneau.
Wonderful shot. Northern Ontario sitting 1 and 2. It's the type of excellent shot making that you can see why this team has achieved so much at this level of the game. It forces Nunavut into a pretty tough position. Definitely their game style and game plan is to always try and play to the center, get rocks involved, and try and make a draw and lock something in there. It worked out for them last time with some help from Northern Ontario for sure, but now they're looking more at probably an angle run or something of the like here to try and work in their favor.
Shouldn't be terribly concerned about scoring here. If they hold them to 1, they should be happy. I think they're going to try and follow him right down, right on top. They should probably be able to get to second shot if they can make it down the same path. And that would be a pretty hard deuce for Trevor Bonneau in this Northern Ontario rink if they can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. That's the right call. All right, so this is Nunavut's last shot of the second end. Northern Ontario sitting 2. Donnell and Taylor bringing us as far as they can. They're close. They're close. Wonderful shot.
Really great shot from Peter Van Strijn there.
Now Northern Ontario, yeah, just sitting the 1, so sat right on top of that. Wonderful shot.
Makes it a real tough deuce for Northern Ontario now.
So I think they're looking at a run back on that yellow that's on the center line. They can run that straight back into the red. That is top 4, and hoping to clip that Yellowstone that Van Strijn and Nunavut just threw. Clip
It's
it
worth a
out.
shot.
It's absolutely worth a shot.
There's not much danger.
No, with so much backing there, your Reds are safe. So here comes Bonneau, firing away, lots of weight. Trying to bring this over.
Oh,
Jammed it up a little bit more, and now we've got an interesting situation.
I should have closed my mouth. There might have been some danger there.
So they're going to call for a measure on these two stones that are just covering the pin.
That's a tight measure to execute.
What a situation. So yeah,
you got any guesses, Kyle?
Oh boy. That is awfully close. I'm going to go yellow.
I got my money on yellow.
So there was a little bit of danger there, as we see that rock of Northern Ontario's just didn't move over enough. Gates was trying to curl it in, but it made direct contact with that yellow, putting it in. So let's see what we got here on the measure. All right. So they take a read on the yellow. Moving around to the red of Northern Ontario's. And that is another steal for Nunavut. So Nunavut taking an early 2-0 lead in this game after back-to-back steals. We'll be back after this.
I've been raised on the farm since day one, so I was born into it. My grandfather came in here in 1905. I want to continue the farm for him and generations to come. So
I think it's a privilege that we get to be here. It's just a wonderful way of life.
You know, what job is there that you can go to work with your dad and brother, with your kids by your side? Doesn't get much better than that.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Welcome back to our final seeding pool game. Here's our feature. Northern Ontario's team Trevor Bonneau up against Nunavut's team Peter Van Strijn. Back-to-back steals for Nunavut heading into this third end. And again, back-to-back kind of errors from Northern Ontario to assist Nunavut with these, with getting these points, but that is not taking away anything from this Nunavut team that has been really efficient at getting behind these center guards and getting rocks into the forefoot early.
No, but if you're Northern Ontario, you got to feel a little bit optimistic still. You've had some good setups, both ends really, and couple mishaps and a couple really good shots by the back end on Team Nunavut that ended with the end not finishing the way you'd like it to.
Great shot from Amanda Gates here. Makes the hit and the roll. I totally agree with you. It's just because a couple of unfortunate errors. It's just 2 steals. It's still very early on in this game. You score a deuce here in the third, and it's a tie game once again, and everything can easily kind of change from there.
Exactly.
Justin McDonald. As they look at the takeout. Connects. Bonneau will try and sweep this out. That one just rolls out the back.
I think McCarville's going to try and loop this one around the guard.
McCarville and Bonneau compete together when the men's team out of Northern Ontario. Bonneau's the skip. McCarville plays third. Between Krista's curling and their children, who are very busy and with hockey and curling and all sorts of other commitments, it makes for a very busy time of year for the household. No center guard still in place. Nunavut will love to try and get something behind here.
This one's curling a lot.
Yeah, it clips off the center. Northern Ontario comfortable with drawing around now. They have the 1 counter in the back 8. Scrubbing this one all the way, want to get every inch that they can in behind cover. And they stop that nicely, top 4.
This is Meredith Penner throwing her first of the third end.
Before going into medicine, she dabbled in being a software engineer, did that for about 8 years before. Plays trumpet and piano and sings. She's starting to pick up piano again, occasionally sings in choirs, and have learned the skill of the North and picked up sewing. She made her own Inuit style parka the other year.
What's that, like a quadruple threat?
It is.
Software engineering is a pretty crazy thing to dabble in.
That's nothing that you just kind of take lightly. I agree.
I think I was bored. I got into computer engineering.
Just a little programming, that's all.
This is Jackie McCormick.
Northern Ontario doing as they have in the past and built up some favorable ends for themselves. Another reason why I don't think they have been necessarily too discouraged at the start of the game is because they've had these opportunities and similar opportunities throughout both ends of this game so far, and it looks like things are starting to develop that way again for this team from Thunder Bay.
Forefoot is still almost completely open. So if this end's going similarly to the past ones, you might want to watch out. This back end's been doing a pretty good job for Nunavut at bailing them out late in the ends. We'll see what Meredith can do here. Looking at running something in.
Yeah, yellow into the 2 reds at the top, I think, is the call that they are hoping for.
Worst case
And
scenario, you get rid of the yellow, the guard at least, right?
Exactly. So you're watching this one, it's tracking out. So they connect with the outside yellow guard.
Okay.
Opens up that path a little bit, and Northern Ontario will be very happy to sink another one in.
That intern side open, they'd love to put one in and maybe cover up the path to the forefoot as well if they don't get it all the way to the button.
It's Jackie McCormick of Stratton, Ontario. It's a town of about 400 people on the Minnesota border, kind of near the border of Ontario and Manitoba. Her curling club didn't even have ice yet. Maybe when she gets home from this event, she said, but so she was able to throw a few rocks at the Fort Francis Curling Club before leaving and to prepare for this event.
We head to Skip Rocks in the third end.
Nunavut in trouble again. We saw Peter make a nice draw earlier last end to really sink and lock one in there that ended up counting for a point. Looks like they're going to try something similar here on the other side of the sheet.
Yeah, not a lot of nice draw paths available right now. The intern's probably the nicest one, but you can't get to shot there. It's still really tough to get to shot with this out turn.
Broom is right up against the divider. And it is going as wide as they possibly can to try and get one in here.
Gotta always be careful coming out this far in the weeds. Never know how many rocks have hit it, how fresh it's going to be. Might run differently than the
Here
rest of the
comes
sheet.
first skip stone of the end. Broom's down.
Looks a little bit heavy. Skip Trevor No's going to bring it back.
Stops for third shot. So not too bad. Would have liked a little bit less, of course, but that does count out at least the third and fourth shots that Northern Ontario had.
going to leave room for Northern Ontario to get back in there, though. Trevor Bonneau's first of the third end coming up here.
Bonneau, a board member on the Northern Ontario Curling Association board. He's also running Thunder Bay's first Pride Bonspiel in spring of 2024.
Real wide path here from Bonneau. We're going to try and loop it in.
They're around.
Needs to slow down a bit.
Curl. Yeah, they lock that on nicely. So 1, 2, 3 for Northern Ontario. Van Strijn playing a similar shot to what he just threw, so he should have a good idea of how much weight you need.
More backing as well. If they hit the backing, they might be able to get into third shot. Maybe close for second. I'm not sure, though. Like you said earlier, when you have the same shot twice in a row, you want to make the second one perfect. So we'll see if Van Strijn can do that here.
None of its last. Up 2-0 on Northern Ontario. McDonald, Taylor, brooms off. Trying to carve it over. Good shot. I think you're right. I think
for
got
third.
Second.
No, I am.
Yeah, looking at that, I think they got second out of this, but maybe a possibility to get in there and punch it back if you can get to the inside. Taking a little less ice than what Nunavut had been icing for on this shot.
Well, you follow the same path down. You only got to knock it probably an inch or two for your three if you're looking at it. Trevor Bonneau's going to take a second look.
Looking at the angle raise here, it looks like. So this is not similar, but looking at another run, that's what he played last end for an attempt to try and score a few.
A little bit of an unorthodox call from Bonneau, but I won't say much if he makes it.
Yeah, I think the draw for 2 is certainly there, but I think maybe when you look at this, it could be for as many as 4 potentially, if they can hit this one and get the red just to the inside of the yellow. So let's see what they can do. Must be close, makes 1. Oh. So not quite what they were intending. And Northern Ontario will score 1, so they are forced to 1. Nunavut has a 2-1 lead after this end. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back after this.
We're for agriculture. For growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back. 4th and Nunavut leading Northern Ontario 2-1 right now. Northern Ontario had the option, I think, to make a draw for 2. They elected to play a run back, which would have potentially brought a bigger score into play. Instead, settle for 1 and also get rid of the hammer. And sometimes I find in a game, things just aren't working with the hammer. Sometimes it's nice just to get rid of it and try something new.
I think definitely for Northern Ontario, they've had a lot of good setups, and I think in the first 2 ends at least, a lot of their worst enemy was themselves. They had a couple untimely misses that just didn't work out for them, and I think they could see some improvement without the hammer here. I think we'll see how aggressively they play this, though, down 1 in the 4th.
Allison Taylor with the hit. Great shot. Open hit here from McCarville. Gates trying to push this over. They get the curl just a little off nose, slight outside roll.
We're going to see some pressure from whoever can make this hit and roll first, I think.
I think indication from Nunavut here to even, I think they're happy with a nose or maybe even a little roll outside. Now, I think the game plan changes for them a little bit where they're saying, hey, we got last rock, so maybe let's try and keep this path clear while we can.
And a solid shot there by Justin McDonald. Mike McCarville's last of the 4th end here.
Hard on the sweep, Jackie McCormick is.
Yeah, got to go for a piece.
Ooh.
He'll catch just enough of it.
Clips it out, but now wide open for Nunavut. So they're going to play the peel. Noses it though, so that's an opportunity for Northern Ontario. double center guard is the call here. So Northern Ontario gonna bring it, and yeah, I don't mind that call at all. You've got that one really high guard, but since it's so high, you put anything into the house, even close to the tee line, it's still going to be quite accessible.
Yeah, it's not terribly usable up that high, and I think a double center just makes it that much more effective. Especially, it makes that one that's that far up high really help you instead of just being up there for not a lot of use. Tougher to peel the real guard. And a great guard there.
Lined
From
up
Jackie
very
McCormick.
nicely too.
Yeah.
So none of it changes game plans now after running that peel. Now, with those double centers going up, they're going to come behind.
Well, it's a really tough double peel. Really impossible double peel without sticking your shooter, really. But this one's looking pretty good. Might slide a bit. No, that's perfect.
That's perfect shot. That's the thing. Like this back end, both Meredith and Peter have been really spot on with their draw weight.
Yeah.
When you have that in your back pocket, it allows you to make a lot of shots and just get a lot of rocks in play. And I think that's where this team strives a lot too, is being able to get those rocks in play. And the more you have, the more good things that ideally are going to happen for you as the game goes on.
This is Jackie McCormick's last rock at the fourth end.
Want to freeze right onto the beak. Clip the side though. None of it still shot stone.
And here's Meredith Penner once again. Looks like they're trying to hit that red that was just thrown.
Trying to hold it.
They're really curling on her though.
Leaves their shot stone a little more guarded though. Although again, now that high, it's only that high guard into play with that one being moved off the center line that was a little bit closer.
On to Skip Rocks, it's Trevor Bonneau. Skip with his team from the Fort William Curling Club in Thunder Bay.
Gates bringing this over. They clip it. Can they get it far back enough? They do. Penner and Gates share a little bit of a laugh over there over who's sweeping behind the tee and where exactly the rock goes.
Van Strine's going to look to run this yellow back. Is he looking to run it right back onto shot rock?
That's my indication here, yes. Looking for a run back into the shot rock.
It's Peter Van Strine's first of two here in the fourth end.
Big shot here. For a run back or even a peel is also good outcome.
Really close.
Wonderful shot from
Wow.
Peter Van Strijn.
Called a shot and made it.
Wow, great shot from them, from that team, from the Iqaluit Curling Club. Just to kind of give you an idea, that club's very small. It's run entirely by volunteers. I know a lot of curling facilities and clubs all across Canada run along that lines with the volunteers. And when you look at this one in particular, Peter is the president of the club, coaches the Little Rocks, juniors, adult learn to curl. He oversees the league play. Then Justin oversees the ice installation and ice maintenance throughout the year. And just for a lot of northern remote curling clubs, it's a lot of work to keep the doors open, done by the people who are competing at this event too. So if they want ice done for practice, they're the ones who are coming in to do it. And through events like this, they're also to raise awareness of a lot of the challenges that curling facilities in northern regions face and the work that they do to maintain the ice and build those memberships as well.
You got to be excited about curling in those northern communities, especially with them being able to see their own provincial colors at the Brier and the Scotties now, what that'll mean for the growth of the sport in the northern communities.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely important. And I mean, when you look at a lot of these curlers who have moved to Iqaluit or Nunavut for work for one reason or another, sometimes there's not a lot else to do but to gather in kind of the recreational centers and areas within the city. And curling is definitely a big one that is picking up amongst all ages there. And as we look at this here now, Nunavut with a draw for 2.
Yeah, a chance to really take a big 3-point lead into the break.
Great opportunity for this team that just won its first game yesterday and seems to be trending in the right direction. Set a draw for 2. That's my mistake because they're playing the hit here. And that's no problem at all. So with that, Nunavut getting another 2 in this end. They take a 4-1 lead over Northern Ontario. And we're going to take a break as these teams take their own break for the 4th end. And we'll be back after this to finish off the second half of this game.
Something new and interesting is always just down the highway here. Find hidden gems grown from the ground up. Hidden gems that can surprise you at every turn. Get a taste for the beauty that thrives in a place where we are given space to grow. Get curious in our prairie life and city lights. Saskatchewan.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans. People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to second half action. What's been a marvelous game between Nunavut and Northern Ontario in this seeding pool round. 4-1 lead for Nunavut over Northern Ontario. Nunavut making a great shot to get a deuce in that end, in the fourth end. We had seen some great draws and some weight control between Nunavut's back end with Meredith Penner and Peter Van Strijn, really finding ways to get some shot stones into the forefoot and also capitalize and get some mistakes happen in their favor, but also making and calling a run back in that last end to really put Nunavut over the edge. It was a good, I'd say 10-15 foot run back, if not a little bit more, called and made by the team from the north that really led them to that score of 2 in the fourth end.
Yeah, I think that's really been the tale of the tape so far is Nunavut's back end, specifically Peter Van Strijn. He knows he's got a hot hand and he's playing well with it. This is Allison Taylor's second of the end.
So they went top 12 and now they're trying to bring this one over as much as they can. It doesn't fall in the house. It might just be touching the center line, but Northern Ontario have set up corner guards, or have set up a corner guard, and Amanda Gates on her second lead stone is going to be playing that one behind the corner.
It's curling a lot early.
Just clips it. Almost sets up another center in favor of Nunavut.
Yeah, it's a messy center, and that's what Team Nunavut wants to see right now. This is Justin McDonald. Second from this team out of Iqaluit.
Waiting for this one to sink. They get by the top, but it has a lot. Will it hit the brakes?
Just nibbling the back four.
Now Mike McCarville on his first being tasked with clearing out some of this junk in the front. Almost
Great
had all
shot.
three going.
That's about as much as you can ask for him.
So this was a draw attempt, but looks like they've pulled the string. A little light. That sets up now an opportunity.
Here's Mike McCarville's second.
Opting to play this guard. I think maybe the peel or clearing out again could have been an option for this team that is trying to get something going with its last rock, but I think it also feels confident that if they can get a few behind the center guards, just like this one with a wonderful shot, that they can be in good position and really challenge Nunavut. So game on, as
Yeah.
Northern Ontario would like to say here.
Yeah, that was a really great pair from Mike McCarville there. This is Meredith Penner.
It's been fairly good with draw weight. They'll want to sink one here right on top. Falls a little light though. So we add another center guard to the mix. We're gonna widen our path. Jackie McCormick. Try and get another one into the top four here.
Yeah, Northern Ontario's seeing red here. They got a chance to really put some pressure on.
Northern Ontario really hard on the sweep. They're by. They need it to rest top four. Oh, wonderful shot. And bit of a fall for Amanda Gates. Gets back up. I think she's more embarrassed than anything maybe when she's having a good laugh about it.
Bit of a tumble, but as long as you don't hit the rocks, I'm okay with it.
There's always laughs guaranteed not only for the sheet that you're on with her, but everyone nearby as well. Always interacting with other players all around the rink, and just really a fun personality that I think everyone at this event loves being around.
Yeah.
Great shot from Jackie McCormick. She's showing off her 36 years of curling experience with a pistol such as that.
Yeah, let's not take away from the fact that was a really good throw.
Nunavut just trying to piece that one over a little bit. Would have liked for that to be a little bit more weight, just to touch on that corner. Try and shrink this scoring zone, because right now it's basically everything in the 8-foot.
This is Jackie McCormick's second.
Everything in the 4-foot rather, with that one stone that's in the back. Hard on the sweep, McCarville on the inside, holding this line. They're by, no, they're not. Just clipped it up front.
Might have got by, just not enough weight there. But it's closing off a lot of the opportunities that Nunavut has to get into the rings there.
Absolutely.
Peter Van Strijn's going to eye up his first at the 5th end. He's been throwing the best of anyone on the ice so far in this game.
Yeah, that run back I'm still super impressed with. He put the broom down and was ready to go and just said, hey, I'm going to make it. And did.
He was dialed in on that one, yeah.
Yeah, so first skip stone right now for Nunavut. They'll hit what they can see of this yellow one that is poking out into the pile there. You can hit it probably right in the crotch and get some good results. I think even if they just connect with one or the other and even sit second shot, that's a pretty good outcome on this result. So here it comes.
He's a little heavy and a little wide.
Yeah, Taylor trying to bring this in. They just flash it. So no can do for Nunavut this time. This could be the opportunity that Northern Ontario had been waiting for most of this game.
You're going to try a long tap back here.
Certainly not an easy shot. I always find taps to be so difficult in managing and getting the weight just right.
Especially when they're 15, 20 feet. Do got to get this one into the 4-foot, though. That yellow Nunavut rock is biting the 4-foot at the back. Here's Trevor Bonneau on his first.
Here we go. Both brooms down. Are they close? They connect, send it back. Will it just clip that yellow haw? Just shy. And that's just something where, like, you couldn't have asked really for much better weight. That was so close, maybe just a little bit of the line where you could have connected it with the back yellow, but it just goes to show you just the degree of difficulty with a shot like that, as you said, 15, 20 feet out.
Yeah, maybe an inch more to the outside, you get that, and it's lined up to go straight onto that yellow. But, 2 inches more to the outside, and you're knocking into your own reds. So really delicate, and the best thing for him is he didn't hurt himself at all.
So Nunavut gets another opportunity. Peter threw a high, hard one last time. Looks like they're going to soften the weight here substantially.
Yeah, it was a really tough shot he gave himself. And in the earlier game this morning, we had, Kyle Kurz miss one similarly, where, he was trying to hit what he saw with big weight and just never came up for him. So I think you'll see them try something a little bit different. They're still trying to tap here, just with a little less weight.
So Northern Ontario sits 2. Nunavut's last stone. Going to make a raise. They need it to curl. Now they're looking to hold the line. They could be close. It's a little more on the nose, and it isn't going to outcount either. So, barring any unforeseen circumstances, Northern Ontario is going to score at least 2.
I think we're going to see Trevor Bonnell go for the same shot he did last time. Maybe a foot longer than it was before because of the shooter rock from his last shot.
Should have that weight in his back pocket for this opportunity to get 3. You do have that backing now, which is definitely a bonus. So let's see what Northern Ontario can do. Have 2 in their back pocket, looking for some more. But this one over curls, it's going to miss the 4-foot. So that is a score of 2 for Northern Ontario. They now trail 4-3 after 5 ends. We'll be back right after this for the 6th.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. With Sask Lotteries, everyone wins.
Something new and interesting is always just down the highway here. Find hidden gems grown from the ground up. Hidden gems that can surprise you at every turn. Get a taste for the beauty that thrives in a place where we are given space to grow. Get curious in our prairie life and city lights. Saskatchewan.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
Welcome back to the 6th end of what's been a great back and forth game here between Nunavut and Northern Ontario. Nunavut with the 4-3 edge right now, also has Hammer in this 6th end, looking to add to its lead. Kyle Jans and Josh Uzik on the call.
This is Allison Taylor's second.
Connects on the hit, but will this stick around? Just outside of the 12 foot. So that was a good sweep by Bonneau behind the tee line. With Northern Ontario having that one center guard up, they're going to try and utilize it as best as they can.
Yeah, this is a big end for Northern Ontario to try and generate a steal here. They can get Hammer back in the 8th. Really solid 5th end by them to get back in the game.
Certainly down, but never out, and they've had plenty of opportunities. It's just been a matter of making the most out of them when those opportunities do arise, but we are seeing more and more of that from the team as this game goes on.
They've been sticking around well. This is Justin McDonald.
They peel that center. I think we'll probably see maybe a couple more rotations of that, kind of a center guard peel. We'll have to see how well Mike McCarville can place this one up. This is the Trevor Bonneau coming in, taking over for Jackie McCormick. They'll get that one over the hog, no problem. I think it's more about just trying to stretch it as far as they can to try and get to that center line. I think that leaves, that's actually pretty well covered. I thought
That one
maybe
curled up pretty nice at the end, yeah.
Yeah, I thought maybe a touch exposed. And you can certainly get at it, just given how high that guard is with some, board bumper weight. This is the final seeding pool game. After this, these teams will have their 2023 mixed championship come to an end. We'll have one more championship pool draw tonight where 5 teams are in the mix for 4 playoffs tough spots. 3 of them have been confirmed and they'll be playing for seeding tonight, but the biggest game between the Northwest Territories and Ontario will be for all the marbles, so to speak, and we'll have that one and coverage for it here coming up later today at 7:30.
That was a really nice shot from Justin McDonald there. Delicate soft hit, stuck around right in the button area there. As we move to Jackie McCormick. McCarville, McCormick, and McDonald.
E-I-E-I-O.
I feel like I'm saying the same name every time. And I was like, I looked at my sheet and I said, yeah, I am.
That's a interesting shot. Yeah, it just kind of slipped right by, so it didn't quite get the freeze, and it is exposed on the other side. It really cut right at the end there. I was a little
Maybe
surprised.
Yeah, just didn't end up in the best spot. It was really well thrown, Rock.
Almost slid right across the face of it. I thought it was going to lock on a little bit more, so that is exposed for Penner here. Both brooms down. This one, though, wrecking on that center. Opens up the center line, which is not what Nunavut wanted. That center line guard and all those guards have certainly been their friend throughout most of this game, and they've been really able to utilize that by scoring a few points here in this game and activating a few steals.
That's true. We'll see McCormick try and hit this open yellow here. Should be sitting 2 after this. Here's McCormick's last of the 6th end.
Gates trying to bring this over. They got to get it off of that corner guard. Can she do it? Just gets by.
Great sweep by Amanda Gates there.
So the takeout attempt here. They're waiting for this one to just get off the center line. Came at it interesting. I don't think they were intending to hit that one on the center line side first.
No, it's not the greatest outcome, but it does open up that 4-foot a lot. You know, there's a lot of red still in the rings, and it's probably going to be 4 after this shot by Trevor Bonneau, but that center's open, and the way things were looking anyway, none of it was probably just looking to make something so they can hope they score.
Mm-hmm.
This is Trevor Bonneau's first to the 6th end as we hit skip rocks.
Broom down, McCarville sweeping, hits. Gets a baby roll. That leaves things open.
Solid shot by Bonneau.
Yeah, it's Nunavut with last rock. They're going to ignore everything that's around there. Yes, it's a lot of red, but if they can lock one onto that shot stone at the back 4, they'll be, I think, thrilled or pretty happy with that outcome. Here it comes, Nunavut's first, 6th end, up one with the hammer. Looking at a quarry of red stones right now.
This one's got to start moving.
Yeah, it looks a little hot. They got to get it off the corner. They do, but now it needs to grind to a halt. It does in the back 8. Tough to tell.
Looks like it's probably fourth shot.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
So we got one, obviously back four, and then the one in the top right, second shot. So Northern Ontario, good opportunity here to really apply some pressure, because whatever draw Nunavut is looking at next, they're going to be risking giving up a couple in return. So Northern Ontario outturn draw. We're going to just get to the opposite side of where their current shot stone is, top right corner of the 4 foot. Brooms are down.
Really got to go to get this as far as they can.
Dragging it for everything they can.
And they'll get that in there. Looks like it's counting. Maybe not.
Hard to tell.
Oof. It's definitely close. There's like 3 rocks that are very close.
But they weren't able to block that draw path as I think they were hoping to. So it leaves Nunavut with an out. Peter Van Strijn has made a few shots, a few big shots earlier this game, and his team needs him to make another big one right now. Against 2 for sure, maybe 3. Not a broom down yet. They're waiting for this to bend. Will it be the same as before? Will it go too far? Can it touch that red? It goes by, and that is a steal of 1, I believe. They're going to take a little look. Yeah, steal of 1, it's confirmed. So with that, we have a tie game as we head into the 7th end. We're all square at 4. Let's take a brief break, and we will be back right after this.
Here is what cowboy dreams are made of. Strong, calloused hands, open skies, the smell of leather and horses and sagebrush. It's getting off the road to explore, a chance to have a real Western experience. Hats, boots, and hard work. It's finding peace while connecting to the land and with those on the same adventure. Pull up a seat or get in the saddle in our living skies and Badlands. Saskatchewan.
The Men of Curling calendar is more than a date provider. Each edition is packed with beautiful images and tons of curling information too. Support curlers and charity by buying yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back to the 7th end. This seeding pool game between Northern Ontario and Nunavut. 4-4 tie as we head into the 7th end, and we see 2 center guards in play already. Kyle Jans, Josh Usick on the call. And Josh, I was going to say maybe going into this, what Northern Ontario might be wanting to accomplish was looking at a blank perhaps and retaining that hammer into the 8th and final end. But looking at this, it looks like we might see some more action to the center of the rings.
Well, it's none of it with the hammer here. They'll definitely want to blank, yeah. Northern Ontario will be going hard for the force.
My mistake.
They got a lot of
course.
momentum.
Yeah.
No, I had to take a second to step back and think about that for a sec. But Northern Ontario's got a lot of momentum in this second half. They've outscored this Nunavut team 3-0 in the second half of this game. And force here is good on their part. Get the deuce in the 8th to win them the game if they can get there.
Yes, you see Nunavut playing the peel there. Good shot from Allison Taylor to open things up. They didn't necessarily want that around. However, they can't touch that other red rock that's in the guard zone right now.
Yeah, it's always a little delicate with that shot. You know, you want to pick your own out, don't want to touch the other one, but she made it pretty well. This is Mike McCarville now with his first to the 7th end. He's had a really solid second half.
He has. He made some really big shots, especially to help Northern Ontario score that 2 in the 5th end.
You're looking at the backing here. This might be a little bit heavy. Not bad at all, actually.
Pretty good spot.
Right behind that guard there.
Yeah, so with that being the 5th rock thrown, Nunavut now will do everything it can to open things up.
Time to move some stones.
I think they were looking at a run back if they can, but straight peel is also a good result.
It's a good start. You got to get rid of a lot of rocks now, but as long as you're getting rid of one each shot, you're on track here. You got to make 1 or 2 doubles if you're them. Gotta get out of here with the blank. Here's Mike McCarville again.
Both Bonneau and Gates trying to bring that over as much as they can. They get that lined up pretty nicely.
Trevor's been pretty anxious to get in there and help his team sweep today. Wants this win pretty bad.
Run back, waiting for this one to curl over.
Just going to get the top one again.
Yeah, so sitting 1st and 2nd as we get into 3rd stones. Northern Ontario will be pretty happy to continue this trend. I think even picking up another steal would be excellent for the Northern Ontario team. They'd be pretty happy with that. That or ultimately a force.
This is Jackie McCormick now.
Bonneau again coming up. Both on the same side, sweeping, trying to bring that over as much as they can.
Just about the same spot as the last one.
So Meredith Penner, we know, has been pretty crystal good with the draws. Getting an opportunity to throw one with some higher weight here. Holds it off. This should be close. They should get something. 1, 2. Wonderful shot.
Great shot by Meredith Penner. Threw a manageable weight there. Shooter's going to stick around right about where it hit. It was a tough angle. You really couldn't make much happen without sticking your shooter.
Yeah, no, that was excellent. I think especially when you maybe asked to throw a little bit more weight than what you might usually do or are used to, it can be easy to toss it out and just watch it sail without it really getting that chance to come back in. But that was just the right weight, as you said, just to make sure that it had a chance to work over and the sweepers could do something with it if they needed.
Yeah, I call that the Josh Usyk special when they call a peel, and I just shove it on the out turn.
So now with that yellow center guard in place, here's the draw.
This one might be looking a little hot. Not bad,
Needs to work
actually.
its way in.
Is Trevor Bonneau up to sweep it?
Yeah, it's just a touch heavy. So Bonneau, Northern Ontario, happy so far this end. Still quite the path to the 4 foot, and that's exactly what Northern Ontario will tackle here. Line's good. It's the weight there, looks good. Taking this all the way to the top 4, and that's a great shot from Northern
Really good
Ontario.
shot from Bonneau. Can't be mad about that. Sitting 3 now, I believe.
Looks to be the case, sitting 3, and instead of trying to open it up or play any type of double, Van Strang gonna stick with the draw.
Yeah, you're in a little bit deep now. As he has most of the second half, Peter Van Strijn is looking at a tough look here on his first.
So here it is, first, none of it stone, none of it with last rock. Tie game. McDonald and Taylor waiting for this one to come over. Looks to all be there. Now it needs to hit the brakes. Will it hit the brakes? No, it's by, so first and second belong to Northern Ontario still.
This is Trevor Bonneau's last of the seventh end.
Another really good opportunity to put some pressure on Nunavut.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the force, but seeing the situation they're in, you don't turn anything down like this. Putting a lot of pressure on, they could be looking at a steal.
Northern Ontario just playing it patient, waiting. Oh, and they clip actually a little bit, but might have been for the best. It took a little bit of weight off and kept them sitting 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's a solid shot. There's not a lot of great ways to get in there for Nunavut. Because they're going to go out way wide for this one.
Very wide. Broom outside of the 12-foot, about halfway between where that divider lies and the edge of the house. And Nunavut needs a good chunk of the 4-foot for a chance to score it single. So here we go. Last shot, 7th end. Big opportunity for Northern Ontario is Taylor McDonald. They're on it all the way, but it's going to fall short. That's going to be a steal of 3 and a 7-4 lead now for Northern Ontario as we head into the 8th end. Stay tuned, everyone. We will finish this game off after this.
We're for agriculture, for growers, doers, whatever it takers. We're for doing things with purpose. We're for the little guy with big guy dreams. We're for agriculture. We're for you. Nutrien Ag Solutions, leading the field.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
Welcome back. 8th end. This seeding pool draw. Northern Ontario taking on Nunavut, and Northern Ontario battling back for its first lead of this game now, taking a 7-4 lead after a big steal of 3. Nunavut with an opportunity to make a draw, needed a good chunk of the 4-foot, however, pulled the string. And I wonder, Josh, we had seen Peter Van Strijn have back-to-back draws just the end previous and came up a little bit heavy on both of those. And you have to wonder if that was maybe in the back of his mind just a little bit as he settled into the hack to make that last draw on the 7th end.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of pressure on that shot as well. I think, a lot of the momentum's been going Northern Ontario's way this second half of the game. It's been a 6-0 run for the green and gold. So I think there's a lot of factors at play, but I think he's also been making a lot of hits so far today. Threw a couple of heavy. I think there's a lot of factors that could have gone into that, and he's not going to be happy with the outcome of that last shot, but there's a whole other end to play, and 3's not out of the picture yet with double corners, and there's backing at the back 8 there.
Absolutely. We saw Northern Ontario try and remove it earlier, but they just jammed it on the nose. So Northern Ontario trying this again, wanting to keep this as clean as possible, and will definitely be taking a crack at those corner guards as soon as they can.
This is Mike McCarville trying to peek out the rock at the back for 8, and he will.
This makes that no problem at all. Northern Ontario has had control of a lot of this game. Just a missed shot here or there ended up allowing Nunavut to take advantage of some mistakes. That, combined with some great shot making from the team, has elevated them, and they've been a really good challenge for this Northern Ontario team today. Nunavut, though, as you said, needing 3, have the double corner guards up, and this rock will finish nicely in behind cover and sit in the back 8 foot.
Yeah, it was a real frustrating start for this Northern Ontario team. A couple ends that really started out really well and just didn't finish as positive for them. And full credit goes to them for sticking around in this one, keeping their heads up and getting right back in it. And they had a really dominant second half of this game.
Absolutely. I mean, it can be very easy to get discouraged and kind of get yourself out of the game and not really want to try or follow up and just give up a little bit early. But this team has not done that whatsoever, kept up the fight, and they knew at some point they were going to capitalize on some kind of mistake, and they got to see that kind of the past couple ends here. First with that steal of 1 and 6, and then a bigger steal of 3 and 7.
Really nice draw by McDonald. A couple really nice draws, in fact.
Absolutely. They got that first one nicely behind the corner, and McCarville ticked off of it. This one is peeking out a little bit more. So definitely Jackie McCormick has a look at this. But Amanda Gates trying to bring this over, and it's going to flash.
And you always talk needing 3 in the 10th, or in the 8th, sorry, rather. Need at least a miss or 2, and there's been a couple on the Northern Ontario side so far. The fact is, none of it still needs to capitalize.
Absolutely, and Penner's going to give that an chance here. Another opportunity to put another one behind that corner guard. Has to be wary of setting up a double. This one needs to die.
Does Trevor Bonneau to sweep this one back as he has all game?
I think it's just out.
I think he got rid of it, yeah. Tough outcome for Nunavut there. That was a big opportunity.
Tightens up the ice. Broom down McCormick. Be hesitant to miss back to back. At least gets that corner guard, and now really opens things up.
That was the big thing on that shot, is she missed the right way. On a lot of shots, there's a right way to miss it, a wrong way to miss it. And that first one was the wrong way to miss it. That second one, you know what, she didn't get the rock in the house, but you know what, she missed it the other way. And still came out with a positive outcome there. This is Meredith Penner's last shot of the 8th.
This one also looks to have just a little bit much. It will have some backing though, so it will stop in the house.
Tap it back a little bit, and there's a chance for a pretty natural double there from Northern Ontario. as we head to Skip Rocks.
That rock, they were looking at I think the jam possibility based off of that rock that is there at the back line, but I don't think that should be in play.
Unless you hit it very thin, I think you'll be
Yes.
pretty well clear of it. It's Trevor Bonneau.
Lots of weight. Bang, bang. Ooh, and he actually leaves one of them in play.
That was hard to do. He still caught a piece of it, but just couldn't get rid of it. And the door's still open for Nunavut with 2 shots left. And they need 3 points here. So Northern Ontario is going to have to make a double on his last unless they make a really clutch freeze. And Peter Van Stryen looking to bail his team out here in the 8th end.
Big opportunity. A little bit hanging in here. So they throw the first skip stone. 2 rocks in play. This one looks to be a little bit heavy though. It's got to come to a stop.
It just will.
So make both these go away, hit it right in the crotch, and that would be it. Get rid of those 2, and Nunavut will not have any type of shot to score 3.
Yeah, and for Trevor Bonneau, who's had a sort of an up and down game, this is a really nice chance to end on a really solid shot here. So this is the last from the skip from the Fort Williams Curling Club.
Crotch, or just hit it on the broom side. Get that middle rock spinning out. McCarville down. Gets them both. And that will be the game. After a hot start from Nunavut, Northern Ontario has overcome it to run their opponents out of stones and take the 7-4 victory in this seeding pool round game. Seeding pool about to be wrapped up. Only one more game on the ice, and tonight we are back here at Curling Canada Plus, and we've got an excellent game. We've got a win and in playoff scenario between Ontario's team Scott McDonald and Northwest Territories team Jamie Cooey. You can of course stream all the games all the times and watch them all at the same time on Curling Canada Plus, thanks to Curling Stadium. And so we'll be back at 7:30 p.m. local time here in Saskatchewan. On behalf of Josh Usick, on behalf of Curling Stadium, I'm Kyle Jans. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again in just an hour or so. Until then, bye.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
The Men of Curling calendar is back for 2024. 18 curling athletes from 4 different nations are raising money for various charities. Support them by purchasing yours today at curlingcares.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed? More innovation?
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium. Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium,